Human, why do you shiver when I touch you there? Alien's seductive curiosity. Humanity's first year inside the Galactic Accord was full of quiet mistakes. The humans thought they were being careful. They spoke slowly, moved slowly, and followed every rule given to them by the alien hosts. They smiled when told to smile and stayed silent when silence was expected. To the wider galaxy, humans looked fragile, soft-skinned beings from a medium-gravity world who relied too much on tools and machines. That was the official belief. Aboard Research Station Kepler 9, humans were considered observers, not contributors. They were allowed to watch experiments, assist with data entry, and attend cultural briefings. No one expected them to surprise anyone. No one except Zalthara. Zalthara was a senior xenobiologist of the Velari Collective. Tall, silver-skinned, and covered in faint glowing patterns, Zalthara had studied over 40 known species. To Zalthara, biology was logic. Every reaction had a cause. Every response could be measured. Humans, however, were confusing. On that rotation cycle, Zalthara was assigned to perform non-invasive scans on Ambassador Evan Cole, one of Earth's diplomatic representatives. The procedure was routine. The human sat calmly on a scanning platform, hands resting on his knees, posture polite but tense. Zalthara noticed the tension immediately. "Your muscle fibers are rigid," Zalthara said in a calm, neutral tone. "Are you experiencing distress?" Evan smiled, the practiced diplomatic smile humans used when uncomfortable. "No distress," he replied, "just new surroundings." Zalthara accepted the answer and moved closer. A scanner floated beside them, projecting soft light across Evan's upper body. To stabilize the reading, Zalthara lightly placed 2 fingers against the human's forearm. The reaction was immediate. Evan's entire body shivered. It was not dramatic, it was not loud, but it was unmistakable. His breath caught, his muscles tightened, and fine hairs on his skin rose visibly. Zalthara froze. The scanner emitted a sharp alert tone. Vital signs spiked. Heart rate increased. Neural activity surged. Chemical responses flooded the bloodstream in patterns that did not match fear, aggression, or illness. Zalthara withdrew instantly. "I have caused harm," Zalthara said, voice sharp with concern. Evan blinked, confused, then waved one hand quickly. No, sorry," he said. "That's on me, you didn't hurt me," Zalthara stared. "You experienced a full-body neurological response," Zalthara said. "Explain." Evan hesitated. His smile faded slightly. "It's hard to explain," he said carefully. "Human nerves are sensitive." "Sensation thresholds do not explain this," Zalthara replied. "You reacted as if exposed to danger." Evan did not answer immediately. Around them, several other aliens had paused their work. The moment had drawn attention. Humans rarely showed involuntary reactions in public. "They were trained not to. It's just a reflex," Evan finally said. "Not a threat response, not exactly." Zalthara recorded the data anyway. After the scan ended, Evan left the chamber quietly. His steps echoed down the corridor, his shoulders tense. He did not look back. Zalthara remained still long after the door closed. The data made no sense. Later that cycle, Zalthara reviewed human biology records. Skin composition, unremarkable. Muscle density, average. Sensory receptors, unusually dense. Very unusually dense. The human skin contained layers of nerve endings far more complex than most species. Touch triggered memory centers. Memory triggered emotion. Emotion triggered chemical release. Touch, for humans, was never simple. Zalthara requested access to historical human survival data. What followed was disturbing. Humans evolved on a world filled with constant danger, predators, environmental hazards, internal conflict. Their bodies learned to react before thought could catch up. A brush of contact could mean threat or safety or warning. Their skin was not just protection. It was a sensor grid. While Zalthara analyzed this, a message arrived from Station Command. Subject: minor incident, human section. A human technician had reacted aggressively when an alien engineer tapped his shoulder from behind. No injury occurred, but the human had turned instantly, placing himself between the alien and a group of civilians. Security logs showed reaction time faster than most automated defense systems. Zalthara felt something unfamiliar: unease. The following cycle, Zalthara requested another meeting with Evan Cole, this time not as a scan but a conversation. They met in a neutral observation lounge. Stars drifted silently beyond the transparent wall. Evan stood near the window, hands clasped behind his back. "You wanted to talk?" Evan asked. "Yes," Zalthara replied. "I wish to understand your reaction." Evan nodded slowly. "Humans don't like being touched without warning," he said. "It's not fear, it's instinct." "Instinct for what?" Zalthara asked. Evan looked out at the stars. "Survival," he said simply. Zalthara studied him closely. This human was not large, not armored, not visibly dangerous, and yet the data suggested something else entirely. "When I touched your arm," Zalthara said, "your body prepared for action." Evan gave a small, humorless smile. "Yeah," he said, "that's normal for us." "For most species, such a response indicates trauma," Zalthara said. Evan shook his head. "For humans, it indicates readiness." Silence settled between them. Zalthara considered the implications. A species that lived in constant awareness. A species whose nervous system never truly rested. "Your people are listed as non-threatening," Zalthara said. Evan turned and met the alien's gaze. "We are," he replied, "until we're not." That night Zalthara updated the human profile. The original classification, physically fragile, low risk, felt dangerously incomplete. Zalthara added a private note, not yet shared with the Accord. Humans react before they decide. Their bodies remember danger even when their minds are calm. They do not wait for threats to become visible. Far across the station, alarms suddenly sounded. Power flickered. Lights dimmed. And in the darkness, it was the humans who moved first. They flickered, dimmed, then died section by section, like something was moving through the station and turning the power off as it passed. Emergency panels glowed weakly, casting long shadows across the corridors of Research Station Kepler 9. For many species aboard the station, darkness meant panic. For humans, it meant focus. Evan Cole did not freeze when the alarm sounded. His body moved before his thoughts finished forming. His shoulders squared, his breathing slowed, and his hands relaxed at his sides. Around him, other humans reacted the same way. No shouting, no confusion, just motion. "Stay close," Evan said quietly to the two alien aides nearby. "Lights might not come back soon." The aliens hesitated. In the Galactic Accord, humans were not considered leaders during emergencies. But something in Evan's voice, steady, certain, made them listen. Elsewhere on the station, Zalthara felt the first vibration through the floor plates. It was subtle, almost unnoticeable. The Velari nervous system would normally ignore it, but Zalthara had been studying humans. The vibration matched the pattern recorded earlier during Evan's Shiver: a low-level environmental change, pressure shift, structural strain. Zalthara's sensory patterns flared. "This is not a simple power fault," Zalthara said to the control team. Before anyone could respond, the station lurched. A distant metallic sound echoed through the structure, deep, slow, and wrong. Several aliens cried out. Others froze completely, overwhelmed by unfamiliar stimuli. Species that relied on stable environments struggled when that stability vanished. Humans did not. In the central corridor, a human security officer named Mara Lynn felt the change before she saw it. Her skin tightened. A chill ran up her spine. She raised her hand. "Stop," she said. The human group behind her halted instantly. A second later, a ceiling panel crashed down exactly where they would have been standing. Dust filled the air. One of the alien engineers stared in shock. "How did you know?" the alien asked. Mara did not answer right away. She was listening to vibrations, airflow, and the quiet signals her body had learned to trust. "I felt it," she said simply. The station's internal systems struggled to adapt. Automated responses lagged behind the damage. Doors failed to seal properly. Pressure warnings blinked too late. In several sectors, panic spread. In the human quarters, no one panicked. They checked on each other. They moved in pairs. They shared information in short, clear phrases. Hands touched shoulders not to comfort but to communicate direction and readiness in the dark. Touch meant information. Zalthara watched all of this through fragmented camera feeds. The data was undeniable. Humans reacted faster than machines, faster than predictions. Zalthara opened a private channel to Station Command. "The human nervous system is functioning as an adaptive sensor network," Zalthara said. "They are detecting danger before our systems register it." The response was skeptical. "They are physically weaker," one commander replied. "They should evacuate and allow trained species to manage the crisis." Zalthara felt a sharp internal resistance. "No," Zalthara said. "They should be observed." As if to prove the point, another tremor rippled through the station. This time, humans braced instinctively. Aliens were thrown off balance. A section of the research wing lost gravity. Humans grabbed handholds without thinking. Aliens floated helplessly, disoriented by the sudden change. Evan pushed off the wall and caught a drifting Velari researcher, anchoring them both to a railing. "Hold here," Evan said. "Wait for the pull." "How do you know when it will return?" the Velari asked, voice shaking. Evan listened to the hum in the walls, to the pressure in his ears, to the tightness in his chest. "Soon," he said. Gravity snapped back seconds later. Zalthara's attention sharpened. Humans were not guessing. They were reading the station. In the main control hub, engineers finally identified the source of the disturbance. A micrometeor swarm had pierced the outer shielding. Automated defenses destroyed most of it, but not before several fragments embedded themselves deep within the station's structure. The damage was uneven, unpredictable. "Structural collapse risk is rising," an engineer announced. Before panic could spread further, a human voice cut through the noise. "We can reinforce the weak points," Mara Lynn said, "but we need to move now." The commander hesitated. "You are not trained for this level of repair," he said. Mara met his gaze. "We grew up fixing things while they were breaking," she said. "Trust us or don't, but time won't wait." Zalthara supported her. "Humans have lived their entire evolutionary history in unstable conditions," Zalthara said. "They are optimized for chaos." That word chaos silenced the room. Permission was granted. Humans moved quickly. They crawled through damaged access shafts, braced failing supports, and improvised fixes using whatever materials were available. Their hands shook, not from fear but from adrenaline. Every shiver meant something. Every chill was a warning. One human technician stopped suddenly, pressing a hand against a wall. "Heat spike," he said. "Pipe rupture coming." Seconds later, the pipe burst. Containment teams stared in disbelief. Zalthara recorded everything. This was not luck. This was biology. As the crisis continued, Zalthara's understanding deepened. Human sensitivity was not weakness. It was a survival adaptation refined over millions of years. Where other species waited for certainty, humans acted on instinct. Where others needed confirmation, humans trusted their bodies. By the time the station stabilized, exhaustion weighed heavily on the humans. Their nervous systems, always active, now demanded rest. The aliens, however, looked at them differently. In the observation lounge, Zalthara approached Evan again. "You experience constant sensory input," Zalthara said. "Does this not overwhelm you?" Evan considered the question. "It does," he said. "Sometimes." "Then why endure it?" Evan smiled faintly. "Because it keeps us alive." Zalthara reviewed the updated human classification draft. Fragile was deleted. Low risk was removed. A new line was added. Humans detect danger before it becomes visible. Their reactions are not emotional errors. They are early survival responses. Zalthara closed the file. Across the station, many aliens now felt something they had never associated with humans before: respect. And beneath it, a quiet fear. Because if humans shivered, something was already wrong. Research Station Kepernine was quiet again. Too quiet. The damage from the micrometeor swarm had been contained, but the station still felt wrong. Systems were stable, power was restored, and the alarms were silent, but many species aboard could not relax. Something unseen lingered in the air. The humans felt it most. Evan Cole stood in the central corridor pretending to review a data tablet. His eyes scanned reflections in the polished walls. His breathing was slow, controlled, but his skin prickled with unease. He did not know why. That bothered him. Across the station, similar reactions appeared among the humans. Small pauses, slight turns of the head, hands brushing surfaces, testing vibrations. Zalthara noticed the pattern. The Velari xenobiologist had not slept. Instead, Zalthara studied live feeds of human movement, overlaying them with station telemetry. The data did not match. Humans were responding to something that sensors could not detect. Yet, Zalthara activated a private channel to station command. Humans are experiencing a shared anticipatory response, Zalthara said. This is not fatigue. The commander sounded impatient. The station is secure, he replied. We cannot react to feelings. Zalthara paused. Humans do not react to feelings, Zalthara said carefully. They react to patterns their bodies recognize. As if summoned by those words, a human engineer abruptly stopped walking near the outer maintenance ring. She raised one hand. Everyone freeze, she said. The aliens around her hesitated, but stopped. A moment later, a soft click echoed through the wall. Then another. Microfractures spread across the surface like thin ice breaking. Emergency bulkheads slammed down just as atmosphere vented into space. If the group had taken 2 more steps, they would have been lost. Silence followed. The alien workers stared at the human. How did you know? One whispered. The human swallowed. I didn't, she said. I felt wrong. The incident could no longer be ignored. Zalthara requested an emergency session with the Accord's Scientific Council. The chamber filled with representatives from dozens of species, scaled, feathered, crystalline, and more. Humans were present only as observers. Zalthara presented the evidence. Reaction times, near misses, successful predictions with no visual data. This is coincidence, one counselor argued. Then coincidence has a pattern, Zalthara replied. Another counselor leaned forward. Explain, it demanded. Zalthara projected a human neural map. Human sensory systems are deeply integrated, Zalthara said. Touch, sound, balance, temperature, memory, and emotion all share pathways. When small environmental changes occur, humans experience them as physical discomfort before conscious awareness. An inefficient design, a crystalline being said. An effective one, Zalthara corrected. Humans evolved on a world where delay meant death. The council chamber grew quiet. A warning alarm interrupted the session. This one was different. Station sensors finally detected it. An unknown object was moving near Kepernine, too small for long-range scanners, too controlled to be debris. A probe, alien in design, not from any known Accord species. The station commander ordered lockdown procedures. Defense systems activated, but hesitated. The object moved unpredictably, drifting between blind spots. The humans reacted instantly. It's mapping us, Mara Lynn said, watching the feed, testing response times. How do you know? The commander asked. Mara did not look away. Because it's doing what we do. The probe suddenly changed direction, accelerating toward a weak section of the hull. Humans across the station stiffened. Evan's skin crawled. Now, he said. Defense cannons fired but missed. The probe slipped past automated targeting, adapting faster than predicted. Before panic could spread, a human technician manually rerouted a short-range emitter using instinct more than calculation. The pulse struck the probe. It went dark. Cheers echoed through the command center, but the humans did not relax. "That wasn't an attack," Evan said. Mara nodded. "That was a question," Zalthara understood. "Someone is studying us," Zalthara said, "and they are especially interested in humans." The council reconvened immediately. This time, humans were invited to speak. Evan stood before beings that once saw his species as harmless. He felt the weight of their attention. "Humans feel danger early," Evan said. "That's not bravery, that's survival." A counselor asked, "Why share this weakness?" Evan met its gaze. "Because if something scares us," he said, "it should scare you too." Zalthara added new data to the projection. "The probe adjusted to our machines," Zalthara said, "but it could not predict human intuition." The room shifted. Respect deepened into something else. Concern. The station's long-range sensors activated again. This time they detected multiple objects, more probes, watching, learning. The unknown presence did not attack. It observed, withdrew, and repositioned. It was patient. "Predators," Mara said quietly. "Scouts," Evan corrected. The Accord faced a truth it did not like. Their systems were powerful but predictable. Humans were not. Zalthara spoke with authority now. "If an external force is studying us," Zalthara said, "humans are our early warning." "And if they target humans first?" a counselor asked. Evan answered before Zalthara could. "Then they'll learn something important," he said. The room waited. "We don't stop reacting," Evan continued. "We adapt." That cycle, humans were quietly reassigned, not as observers but as advisors. They were placed in critical areas, not because they were strongest but because they felt danger first. Some aliens were uneasy. Others were relieved. As the station drifted through space, watched by unknown eyes, one truth became clear to those paying attention. Humans were not calm because they felt safe. They were calm because they were ready. And far beyond Kepler 9, something ancient adjusted its calculations. The humans were not what the galaxy believed. They were something far more dangerous. They noticed you coming. The unknown watchers did not hide anymore. They did not need to. Long-range sensors across Research Station Kepler 9 showed faint distortions in space, shadows where nothing should be. The objects did not move like ships. They drifted, adjusted, and waited, studying. The Galactic Accord prepared defenses, but the mood had changed. This was no longer a simple threat that machines could solve. The enemy did not rush. It learned. The humans felt it. Evan Cole stood in the command center, arms crossed, eyes half closed. His breathing was slow, but his skin tingled like a low electric current ran through him. "They're too calm," he said. The station commander looked at him. "That's your feeling again." Evan shook his head. "No," he replied, "that's experience." Zalthara stood beside him, data scrolling across a floating display. "The unknown force has not attempted communication," Zalthara said, "nor direct attack." "Predators don't roar first," Mara Lynn said from her station. "They watch." Across the station, humans were being placed in key locations. Not behind weapons, beside sensors, structural supports, and control points, wherever unpredictability mattered most. Some aliens questioned the choice. Others trusted it. The Watchers made their move during the station's artificial night cycle. Without warning, one of the shadows split apart. Energy rippled outward, not destructive but disruptive. Systems flickered. Artificial gravity weakened. Communications lagged. Panic spread among non-human crews. Humans stiffened. "Here," Evans said suddenly. A section of the hull lit up on the display. "How do you know?" the commander asked. Evans' jaw tightened. "Because my body doesn't like that spot," he said. Zalthara compared the location with structural data. "There is no visible weakness," Zalthara said. "Yet," Mara replied, the station shook. A controlled breach opened where Evan had pointed. Not enough to destroy, but enough to test response. The Watchers were learning how fast the Accord could react. Humans did not wait. Repair teams moved before alarms finished sounding. Manual overrides engaged. Emergency seals closed faster than automated systems predicted. The breach was contained in seconds. The shadow withdrew slightly. "It's confused," Mara said. Zalthara tilted its head. "Explain." "It expected delay," Mara said. "We didn't give it any." The Watchers tried again. This time they triggered cascading system failures, small ones spread across the station. The goal was clear now, overwhelmed through complexity. For most species this would have worked. For humans it felt familiar. Evan moved through the corridors with other human volunteers. No orders were needed. They adjusted on the move, reacting to changes before instructions arrived. "Temperature drop," one said. "Vibration shift," another replied. "Pressure's wrong," Evan added. Each comment came seconds before sensors confirmed it. Zalthara observed in silence. The humans were not acting as individuals. They were acting as a living network. The Watchers made one final attempt. A larger shadow emerged, closer than before. Its surface rippled as if space itself bent around it. A pulse of energy surged toward the station, stronger than any before. "This will break us," a counselor whispered. Humans felt it coming. Evan's skin burned with warning. "Now," he said, the station's weapons did not fire. Instead, humans activated a signal, one never designed as a weapon. A chaotic burst of mixed frequencies, manually tuned, slightly imperfect. It was messy. It was human. The pulse struck the shadow. The effect was immediate. The object convulsed not from damage but from confusion. Its systems failed to adapt to the unpredictable signal. It recoiled. Then it fled. The remaining shadows vanished with it. Silence returned to Kepler 9. No cheering followed. Humans slumped where they stood, exhausted. Their nervous systems finally allowed rest. The aliens stared at the displays in disbelief. "They ran," someone said. Zalthara spoke softly. "They learned," Zalthara corrected. In the aftermath, the Galactic Accord held its most important session in history. Humanity's classification was revised. The old terms were removed. New ones replaced them. Humanity. Zalthara added a final note to the report. Humans do not seek conflict, they sense it. And when they act, it is already too late for the threat. Evan stood beside Zalthara as the session ended. "Will they come back?" Evan asked. Zalthara considered the question. "Yes," Zalthara said, "but differently." Evan nodded. "Good," he replied, "so will we." As humanity's ships prepared to leave Kepler 9, aliens watched them with new eyes, not fear, not awe, understanding. Humans were not loud conquerors, they were quiet survivors. They listened to the universe, and when the universe whispered danger, humans shivered, and the galaxy learned to listen too.